What's up? What's up? You already know what it is, baby. Arthur Moats, and it is time for a space talk following a victory. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was a good one. Definitely what we needed to see, man. Definitely what we wanted to see in response to last week's performance in all three phases against the Baltimore Ravens, man. So like I said, really good to see the Steelers be able to get the dub today, taking care of business on the road. Was it really on the road, though? It didn't feel like it was on the road, but it technically was on the road. But obviously the Steelers get the job done, 24-16, moving to 6-8, making it even more interesting, baby. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, like I said, man, definitely was excited about that one today, man. We'll obviously deep dive into all of the initial feelings and stuff like that, man. But as we always do, let's start it off like we always started off, baby. Let me know where you are tuning in from in the chat. I'll let you know, or after you let me know, I give you that shout out. And then from there, we will proceed, baby. And hit that like button while you are at it. Yes, sir. Love getting a victory, baby, especially on the fake road. Like I said, it wasn't the road, man. We know Steeler Nation is heavy down there in Charlotte, man. And yeah, just watch from the broadcast. You could see Steeler Nation was turned up out there, man. So salute each and every one of y'all that were in attendance at the game today. Let's see. Okay, there we go. I got the homie Rod Dollar tuning in from the 330 Youngstown, Ohio. Share a line, baby, in the house. We got Rianne Farber. Shout out to you, Rianne, tuning in from the 785 Northwest Kansas. Shout out to Northwest Kansas also, man. Kevin Weatherholt the second. Shout out to the seconds in the family as well, man. The 502 Duville and Leah Warren tuning in from Killeen, Texas. That's the 254. She says, a nice B-Day dub. All I need for today. Well, happy birthday to you, Leah. Hope you're enjoying your birthday even more so since we did get you that black and gold W today. Yes, indeed. Jar Devil, I see you, homie, tuning in from I believe that was the 310 San Pedro, California. Steelers Girl 517 tuning in from Lansing, Michigan. Love it after a victory, baby. That's how the space talk's supposed to feel, baby. Yes, indeed. DeAndre Jones tuning in from the 703 Woodbridge, Virginia. Shout out to Woodbridge, baby. Oh, I got the little homie, aka my little brother. Love you, little man. Cam Mo Kid, Cam Mo Kid 17, tuning in from the 804. Colonial Heights, and when mommy gets to you, you tell her I said hello, since she just left me to go see you, choke. But I love you too. Alright. Robert Martin tuning in from the 757 Williamsburg. VA Steve Brooks tuning in from the 757, aka The Crib. And let's see. I will end it with the homie, the Brobarian, baby, tuning in from the 757. Doug Cribbage, as always, man. Oh, and Dippin' Dots 21. I'm glad you like my attire for the day. Yes, he says, this hoodie looks way better than the Bills hoodie. I'm going to just leave it as this hoodie looks really good for today, all right? But no, man, this is a victory hoodie, baby, so you know how to throw this on for us, man, for the culture. Let's get it. And I do see a couple of supers in there. I will tap into those in a second. But then after that, I'm going to tap in. So let me see. I'm going to start me off, and then I'm going to get you right on the other end of this thing. All right. Here. Take a sip of my H2O. That dry mouth to get you once in a while. Don't research too hard, fellas. Alrighty. So, man, to start this thing off, starting with the offense side of the ball, right? I thought first off, man, with the offense, I thought they were just a lot more efficient this week and more physical this week. When we looked at them last week, what was the big thing that we criticized them on? The 3 red zone turnovers and just not being able to run the ball, not being able to control the line of scrimmage, protect, things like that. I thought this week, man, that it was the exact opposite. Man, we controlled the line of scrimmage in the run game and in the pass game. I was a little bit more surprised at how well we did in the pass game because of some of the struggles that we've had at times versus certain caliber players. But I thought today, man, we did a really good job in terms of the protection. You look at the in terms of just the eyeball test. to me, I didn't feel like Mitch was under duress a lot today. I thought that he had a good pocket the majority of the time. And I thought that whenever he needed to take some chances downfield, man, he was given that time because of the offensive line's protection. Obviously, he was sacked once. They ended up giving it to Frankie Louvu, not Brian Burns. But you can see, Brian was the one that if you were going to win a one-on-one, in terms of the pass rush, he was going to be that guy. And yeah, between Chooks and Dan Moore, I thought that they did a good job of just kind of negating him. And obviously the run game really, kept him at bay. So that was good to see that. And then the physicality was what? Being able to actually run the ball, controlling the line of scrimmage, seeing Najee and Jalen getting multiple yards before they're ever being touched. That was beautiful to see, man. Now, granted, neither one of them ended up with over 100 yards individually, but the tandem together, put up over 100 yards rushing, and it was really impressive in terms of just how those two guys went. But like I said, just sticking with the physicality that we saw today with the offense as a whole, I thought that was one of the big things that we had to do. You talk about all the games that we've won since the bye week. We've been the more physical team in each and every one of them. We've controlled the line of scrimmage in each and every one of them. The two that we have dropped, we got dominated in the trenches, man. So it was, like I said, good to see that. And then the efficiency. No turnovers on offense this week. Like I said, 3 last week. Cost us. It killed us, right? We talked about how we were moving the ball, but, man, in the red zone, we got to be able to score, and we just didn't do that. So to see them not be able to turn the ball over, I thought that was really good because, like I said, you just never know, man, how the residual is going to be, especially when we went back and stayed with Mr. Trubisky. And I know throughout the week that was a big debate, throughout Steeler Nation. Would you want to go with Mason Rudolph or would you want to go with Mr. Trubisky? And to see, Mitch be able to go out there and respond in a way that looked good. I thought that he was very efficient. Like I said, man, you just want to see that, but also not seeing him be skittish out there. I thought that he was aggressive when he needed to be. I like what he did in terms of taking the chance to George Pickens. Hello. Man, he's that dude too, right? Shout out to George Pickens. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but dang, we got to target him more, but I get why we don't target him more, but I'm like, we need to target him more, man, because he does do those freaky type things. I think they showed a stat during the game where they were saying that even it was on 50-50 balls or something like that. He's catching 56% of those things. He's, I guess, has the highest percentage of completion rating in those 50-50 scenarios. So yeah, man, that's one of them ones where I'm like, man, I would like to see us target that a little bit more, man. But either way, it was good to see Mitch be aggressive enough in that scenario. And then from there, man, just use good decision making. Last week, he got too aggressive, overly aggressive, and it cost him. This week, man, take what the defense gives you. Be aggressive when you need to, but ultimately play a clean game. I thought Mitch did that, and that was a big reason why the offense was able to stay on schedule. Talked about Najee and Jalen Warren, what they were able to do in terms of just that 1-2 punch, that tandem between those two guys. A lot of productivity in that room as well, man. And man, the more Jalen Warren gets, back out there and back with his legs up under him from the hamstring injury, you can see that burst. You can see that explosive, that playmaking ability. Let's see what he ended with specifically. Yeah, Jalen ended up with 11 for 38 on the ground. Obviously had the 1 for 11 with that catch. But he's one of them dudes, man, I'm just like, man, can we get him featured a little bit more as well? Because you can see what he's capable of. That speed that he plays with, the toughness in terms of finishing off these runs and stuff, man. Like I said, I definitely liked that a lot, man. Definitely liked that a lot. And then, since we're still with the offense right now, I guess I'm going to get to the defense in a little bit. But talk about these wide receivers, man. Deontay Johnson, bro. I thought he was going to get that 100-plus receiving yard day. I thought he was going to get that first receiving touchdown of the year for himself. Unfortunately, he didn't, but, man, he had a heck of a game. Caught all 10 passes that he was targeted on, 98 yards. And even with the bonehead penalty, yes, I kind of get it. It's like I don't like the penalty because obviously you don't want to be penalized, and it could have cost them, but it didn't because they were able to overcome that and punched in to score. But, man, to see Deontay, the just competitive, ultra aggressive in your face version of him today, man, I love seeing that version of Deontay because he is one of those tough as nails competitors. You can see the hunger that he has and the passion that he has, even to the point, like I said, where it might cost him a 15-yarder, where he wanted to get up and let the DB know that he had just made all 3 of those guys miss and still get the first down. I get it. But, you want to be a little bit smarter there. But as a whole, man, I thought that he bounced back in a big way and just continuing to show that he is worth the money that he's compensated or that he's being compensated by. But the thing for him is he just has to continue to be consistent. That's the big knock on Deontay. Nobody complains about Deontay when he's playing his consistent ball because what he's talented enough and capable to do. The issues coming with Deontay when he becomes inconsistent. You got the drops, or you have him running backwards instead of, going to get the first down in certain scenarios and stuff like that. But as a whole, man, it was good to see Deontay show up the way that he did today. And George Pickens, like I said, man, Pickens was targeted 5 times, didn't get as much as I would like for him, but still big field flipping play. Once again, showing off them freaky, just I can take it from you and put it where you can't get it type of mentality, man. I loved that from George Pickens, man. I thought that was dope. And then just once again, man, from a whole perspective with the offense, 3rd downs, 12 of 16. That is major. That's letting you know you are sustaining drives, moving the ball. I think they said, 4 drives of 10 plus plays. Then they obviously had the 21 play drive where they scored. I mean, that is high level efficiency, man, but you don't get that without being excellent on 3rd downs. And going to 12 of 16 on 3rd downs at the NFL level is crazy, man. So I thought that was big time. And then the thing that we've been the most critical of this offense, whether it's been under Mitch Trubisky or Kenny Pickett, has been red zone touchdowns. How many times have we talked about, man, we get in the red zone, we score 1, but we got to kick 3 field goals. Or we kick 3 field goals, but we don't score any touchdowns. But we're getting constant trips. Today, we went 3 for 3 in the red zone. Man, wasn't that beautiful? Wasn't it? I mean, granted, we didn't get to throw one in there, but it was still good to see my man Najee get one, Jalen get his first one, and then obviously Trubisky go ahead and tap in one in there as well, man. So like I said, offensively, really impressed with what I saw from them today. Could it have been better in certain areas? Absolutely. The penalties, you don't want that. You got to cut that down, but as a whole, man, I thought that the offense did what they were supposed to do, and trust me, I get it, man. Some people are going to try to discredit it and say, oh, it's the Panthers. Oh, Panthers suck. Well, people said they still suck too, man. So that's the first thing. Second thing is this, man. The Panthers are still very much trying to win their division. Let's also talk about that. So it's not like they're out there laying it down either. And there's also a team that, just like the Pittsburgh Steelers, have been 3-5 coming out of their their previous 8 games and stuff like that, man. So you could see where both of these teams, or excuse me, they had won 3 of their previous 5 coming since our bye week, but their previous 5 games as well. So you can see we're both on the same type of trajectory, and both of these teams were doing things that could present challenges for one another. But once again, this is one of those ones where you got to see who is going to rise to the occasion, who is going to out execute and out physical their opponent. And that is what the Steelers did, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So like I said, I definitely liked what I saw from them there. All right. So before I get to the defense, let me tap in here and see what y'all had offensively, your thoughts and stuff like that. All right. Tap into some of these. So my man Farron Bradford, he says, what was Chico thinking? Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Sometimes I don't know what them dudes be thinking. And yeah, that was one of the ones where he probably thought it made sense to go into that opposing team's huddle. And yeah, probably thought it looked real cool until that flag came out. And then you saw him on that sideline with the face of like, oh my God, I did not just do such a thing. I'm utterly mortified. Like, yeah, that happens at times, man. But hopefully for Marcus, he will learn, man, from just that instant right there, because I love the energy that he plays with. I love his passion. I would never want to take that away from him. And even when he's dancing on special teams, he's usually dancing after making a tackle. It's just that, this time he kind of got a little bit too caught up in himself and wanted to mosey on over there to the other opposing team's huddle. Like, bro, what are you doing, my brother? Let's not do that anymore. But shout out to Marcus. He says, I'm ready for 8 to come back. LOL. I've seen enough. Hey, man. To each their own. I thought that Mitch did what he needed to do today, though, man. The big knock last week was what? 3 turnovers. What's the knock this week? Efficient, took the chances downfield, made the plays that he needed to make, executed a 4-minute drive or the 4-minute offense at the end of the game. Yeah. So, like I said, man, obviously Kenny is the quarterback, and hopefully for him, when he gets back healthy, he'll come back out there and be able to continue progressing the way that he needs to. But yeah, man, I can't roll with you with the Mitch hate today. Nah. All right. Eddie B. Moats So happy his two teams won this week. You better believe I am, man. You know what I'm saying? I needed that. Now, granted, the Bills ain't covered for me, though. I needed them to do that, too. But, yeah, you know what I'm saying, man. It was good to see that. And especially because we don't like the Dolphins, man. You got to elbow drop them. Got one team in the postseason. Now we're going to see, you know what I'm saying, can Pittsburgh run this table, get a little luck on their side, and get them in that thing, too. We'll see, though. Official momentum. Shout out to you, by the way. He says, great win, Mr. Moats. They got Deke's integrity. You better believe it, man. Yes, they do. Angel Rosales. He says, Deontay showed y'all why he runs backwards. And I would agree. He is a playmaker, man, and that's always been what he's trying to accomplish. We will highlight the couple of times where he doesn't accomplish that and everybody runs crazy with it. But as you can see today, that is what he is capable of doing. And we've seen him do that a lot more than the alternative. So for me, man, yeah, I'm with you on that, man. It was really good to see Deontay continue to just be himself, man. Not allow what people have been saying about him to affect his play. Otherwise, we would not get those type of plays that we were getting today from him. DeAndre Ezell, bruh. Why do we still have Marcus Allen? Because Marcus makes tackles on special teams, man. He is one of our core key special team performers, man. But at the same time, he is very passionate. He likes to express himself. And sometimes he doesn't use the best judgment when expressing himself. But this is one of those ones, man, where, you know, you can see instantly once the flag was thrown, once he was on that sideline, and everybody that came and talked to him, from Derek Watt, Miles Killebrew and company, he knows he messed up in a major way. And I do not anticipate seeing him doing that ever again, man. But yeah, that was one of the ones where it was like, you could see the whole just change of events. Oh yeah, it's a good idea. Oh no, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. And yeah, that's one of them things, man. He'll learn from it though, man. All right, quality koalas. Just showing a little love. Salute you, baby. Yes, indeed. And then we got DeAndre Ezell. He says, Mitch, Steelers backup for years to come. I don't know, man, if he gonna want to stick in that role, man, because days like today, that's the type of stuff that when you look around the league, you say, can you win with that? And that's the stuff that when we brought him over from Buffalo that we thought we were going to get consistently from him at the bare minimum. And, you know, for him, that wasn't always the case. But, you know, if he would take that role of being the backup, I mean, obviously you can see this is what you would want. Yes. But I just don't know if he's ready to settle into that role, especially with the guy that I'm pretty sure he feels that he can compete with in Kenny Pickett. So we'll see obviously how that goes, man. That's for down the line, though. We got a little bit more time on that one. Oh, and this is, I'm glad you brought this up, Kevin Witherholt II. And I actually had this in my notes. 0 targets for Pat. What is up with that? Yeah, man. I was a little bit surprised by Pat's lack of involvement today. Obviously, when we talked about the 5-star matchup, I thought that he would be the one that we would feature a little bit more. But it looks like the approach that we took was instead of focusing on the matchup with Pat on the front side versus Frankie, what we did was focus on Deontay being on the opposite side. And that was one of the things where we were able to win a good amount of those plays like that, along with obviously us having the running game the way that it went. But yeah, man, I still would like to see Pat be more involved because he's too talented of a player to not be getting targeted, period. But yeah, I'm with you on that, man. I definitely want to see more of him. But to think this, though, we're saying we won a game handedly or convincingly, and we did not target Pat Freiermuth. That's just crazy to think, man. But it does show once again, though, that, like I said, man, this offense can be good. This offense can be efficient. That Panthers defense, I know their record isn't the best, but their defense at times has been playing well, especially under Steve Wilkes. That's the biggest reason why they've been able to, win the games they've won and put them back in position to win their division, even with how bad of a start they had. But for us, it was really just the execution part that really got the best of them today, man. And I thought the physicality was a major reason why we were able to execute the way that we did today. R. Barley 18. Say what you want. Mitch, maybe not that dude, but back-to-back weeks, I see Kenny is an issue. Inability or unwillingness to throw the ball downfield doesn't open up the run game. Hashtag still need a QB. Well, we still need a franchise QB. That's what you are speaking of specifically. It's a lot of teams that need those guys. The teams that do not have franchise quarterbacks have quarterbacks that win games like how we saw today. You know, don't turn the ball over, make a couple of throws here and there, and rely on a run game. That's how a lot of other teams win. So obviously, you know, we're still trying to figure that direction out, and we'll see how the Steelers operate this offseason with that. But the run game, man, yeah, when you have that going, it does help out, but you cannot have that run game open if you're not able to stretch the field. And that was something that Mitch, these past 2 weeks, has been able to do. Now, obviously, for Kenny, we'll see when he comes back from his concussion if he's able to bring that back to his game, because that was something that was strong in his game early on, but it also was leading to multiple turnovers as well. So with him, man, he's still trying to figure that part out. And as a rookie quarterback in this league, man, that is normal and that is just all right. But yeah, I don't think what you're referring to as need a quarterback is the same as what you're actually saying. You're desiring a franchise quarterback, the elite quarterbacks. Not a lot of teams have them, man. So, like I said, if you don't got one, this is the way you got to win. This is the way that you have to win. Alrighty. Shout out to Farron Bradford. He says, laughing out loud, I had to hold my breath every time Mitch throws. He did what needed to be done, but 8 is the captain now. Give me the captain Phyllis. I the captain now. Now, why are you so nervous? That's the other question. When you look at Mitch's throws, it was 3 throws last week that put it in harm's way for the interception. But other than that, the rest of his throws were really good last week. And then once again today, they're still really good throws. The big thing with Mitch is just, like I said, when to be aggressive and when you need to just be smart. And that is also something that he has to deal with and learn, because we saw how he could be too conservative at the beginning of the season, where you don't have to hold your breath because he's not going to ever put it anywhere where it's a challenge. Today, you saw him take some chances and actually win with his arm talent. And that's the impressive part. But once again, we're not sitting here and acting like Mitch is a top 5 elite quarterback. Nah. But for what we are trying to do at the quarterback position, what he did today is more than enough to help you keep winning. And that's the other point I'm trying to make right there. But yeah, Kenny's definitely the man. It got to be. Like I said, he's going to get every opportunity. That's not changing. Regardless of what Mitch does out there, 8 is going to get that opportunity when he's healthy. All right, Official Momentum says, do we play rock, paper, scissors if we tie in the AFC North? Hashtag 9 and 8. Well, yeah, man, because we do got some action going on. Obviously, we saw with, what's my man, Baltimore. Yeah, them getting beat by the Browns. Yeah. I mean, we'll see, man. Obviously, that changed the top of the division. And yeah, we still kind of got some opportunities. But yeah, I think for us, unfortunately, our tiebreakers don't allow us to be in the rock, paper, scissors conversation. But hopefully I'm wrong, though. Hopefully I'm wrong. All right, Damon Brown. Shout out to the homie Damon Brown as well. Says, what up? In here at Tailored Smokes in Charlotte. Having a victory cigar and shot of the Louis 13. Oh boy, you doing it up. That Louis 13 hit. I likes it. He says life is good. Shout out to Trina and AJ Martinez. Now, without a doubt, Damon, glad that you are enjoying yourself. Having you a victory cigar with a victory shot of that Louis the 13th down in Charlotte, the scene of the crime where we took care of business. And shouting out the homies Trina and AJ Martinez. Man, salute you, baby. Yes, sir. Drew Kill, no mention of Canada when Mitch starts. Only Kenny. Oh, now, Drew. You can't be saying that now, Drew. You're gonna make people feel a little bit upset. Now, you can't be doing those type of things. Okay? You know. I see what you see. I see what you're saying. But you know you can't be saying that. That paints a bad picture. Now, we can't be doing that. But no, in all seriousness, though, the big difference right now, man, when I'm looking at Kenny versus when Mitch is out there, especially with this like recent time right now, is just because of Kenny being more buttoned up and cutting down on the turnovers. It has cut down on his desire to be aggressive with the ball, to put the ball up on some of those 50-50 throws. That's a pro when you're talking about not turning the ball over, but it's a con when you're talking about not feeling explosive, not being able to open up the offense and just be able to give the running game a little bit more room. Whereas with Mitch, he has especially these past 2 games, been showing that he is more willing to take those chances, because for him, what's the worst that can happen? You bench him, he's already been benched. Which you're not going to support him, he's already not been supported. So I just think for him, it's a good thing for him because he needed that in terms of to be less conservative. But that's the thing where you can see where at times for Mitch, like last week, it got him in trouble. Whereas for Kenny, he's been able to stay out of trouble, but it's made the offense not as explosive at times. But both, as you can see today and when Kenny was healthy, especially coming out the bye week, that both versions went. But the key component in both situations are not turning the ball over. And as long as we do that, we're good. All right, I'm going to get a couple more, then I will switch over, talk a little defense, and then we'll hop back in these super chats as well. But I definitely appreciate each and every one of y'all that are with me today on the Space Talk. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you have not done so already. Got the homie Mike Hood. He says, I think because of the scheme Carolina was running, forcing throws to the outside with their zone. I mean, that's part of it. But on tape, what did we say that they run? They run a lot of cover 1 and a lot of cover 3. It helps you keep a safety down in the box to help stop the run. And then and then versus the pass, obviously, you're going to play a lot more of your, when it's cover 3, you got the soft spot in the zone, but in cover 1, it's still going to look very similar to 3 in terms of your pre-snap disguises. So that was part of it, yeah. And with that, it was still good to see that, number 1, we could run on them even with them having the numbers in the box because that safety was going to be walked down. But also to see that, hey, we could also win on the perimeter when we needed to throw to a Deontay Johnson who could create separation and win right now. And that was also good to see as well. I mean, it really was to that point where with Carolina, when you watch them on tape, they're predicated on being able to get pressure. When they're able to get that pressure up front or win the line of scrimmage, that's when they're playing at their best. But because they weren't able to do that, you could see some of the flaws with the defense that they run like that. You know, when it's as simple as 1 and 3, it gets really easy to read that, really easy to attack that. And if you're not getting pressure, making the quarterback have to move off his spot or play a little bit faster, that is very tough to win playing for 4 quarters. All righty. So I'm going to stop on CDez86. I will come back to you. Want to tap into some of this defense, though, as well. All right. Because you know, we're not going to win on the road. Stuff the run. Hold a team to 16 points again. Make it make sense. And not talk about this defense. Come on now, baby. You know I got to do that now. All right. So first off, man, shout out to my dog Larry Ogunjobi. It was good to see him back out there, man, for a homecoming game, man, because obviously he played at UNC Charlotte just like Alex Highsmith. And from the beginning of the game, I thought Larry set the tone, especially versus the run. I thought he was very disruptive. In the backfield constantly, his get off and just his tenacity really set the tone and let the Panthers know that they were not going to be able to just run this ball the way that they thought they were going to be able to do. And I thought that was critical for the start of the game. Then from there, man, Alex Highsmith, we talked about him, right? We said he's going to have a really good matchup. Obviously, Ekwonu, high pedigree guy, really good player. But what did we say? We said, man, I seen him struggle against specifically Bruce Irvin last week with the inside move in terms of his counter. He would go speed, then Bruce Irvin would counter with a inside swim off of his bull rush. Whereas what Alex Highsmith hit him with today was what? His speed and then spin move inside. Then he also was able to beat him on the outside as well. It was just good to see Alex Highsmith continuing to evolve as a pass rusher, continuing to evolve and say, I don't care who that tackle is anymore. First rounder, second rounder, Pro Bowler, it doesn't matter. He's good enough to win. And it was good to see him be able to do that today. Across the board up front too, man. Cam Hayward and TJ Watt both ended up with 1.5 sacks. Good to see those dudes, man, getting back out there winning. TJ, still not all the way healthy, but healthy enough. And we said he was going to have a really nice matchup. I know in terms of like Carolina fans, when you watch them and you watch their offensive line, they kind of feel like how us at times. Like, man, this is a group that was getting better. This is a group that had continuity. I know their center was hurt, but other than that, it was a good group or a decent enough group. But that's the difference with our defense, man. When our front is winning their one-on-ones and they're healthy, man, they're just tough to deal with. And you could see every time Sam Darnold was starting to drop back at times where the pressure was starting to get to him. Now, Sam Darnold did do some positive things, man, in terms of extending the plays, in terms of hitting some nice throws downfield. And part of that was what we were gonna allow. Because we were going to play our cover 3, but we were going to walk our safety down as well because we knew they wanted to run the ball. So some of the passing stuff that they got, some of that yardage was by design because we were going to not allow them to win running the ball against us. They were going to have to put it in the air and make Sam Darnold win. And Darnold made some plays. And what we say is former top pick. Like, this dude is nice in terms of his talent, but the consistency is the big knock on Sam Darnold. And we saw that today. I mean, he hit some throws without a doubt. He made some moves in terms of scrambles and stuff like that, but the consistency is just not there with him. And that's part of the reason why their offense is a little bit limited at times. Another player that I thought stood out, man, on defense, Terrell Edmonds, man. It was good to see him, man, especially just the physicality that he had on plays where he was blitzing, playing against the run. Obviously, we saw the one play, man, where he runs over that same left tackle, Akeem Ekwonu. And yeah, now granted, Ekwonu trips. I know his foot gets caught. For all my offensive linemen out there, they would be crucifying me right now, telling us, Moats, man, don't be trying to praise that you saw his foot got caught up. I know. From an offensive lineman's perspective, that is very accurate. But as a defender, we gonna take all of them. So yeah, my man ran that dude over, man. So I don't even care about that 300-pound offensive lineman. My little dude Edmonds, man, ran over right through his chest. Yeah. So it was good to see, baby. So shout out to Terrell Edmonds on that one, baby. But no, man, it was good to see Edmonds, man, flying around. Another, in terms of some other observations with the defense, I thought that the DBs, they could have been better, but at the same time, we knew, well, I'm sure not everybody knew, but based on the coverage that we were going to be playing today, it was going to allow, like I said, the Panthers to have some nice opportunities, man, some soft spots in some zones, or just some one-on-one coverage, man, in certain situations. And obviously they won some of those. But as a whole, we were able to do enough to never allow it to feel like it was overwhelming us. And that was the good part about it. And also, because of our D-line winning the way that they did today, that also allowed us to say, you know what, man, we can give up a couple of catches to DJ Moore. We can give up a couple of catches to Terrace Marshall because we know we're going to win our pass rushes the more he keeps throwing this ball, the more he keeps trying to drop back. So like I said, that part was really good. But the one thing that really stood out to me, or a couple of things that stood out to me at the end of this game, I thought that we were extremely good against the run in contrast to versus Baltimore. Last week against Baltimore Ravens, we gave up 200 plus yards on the ground. Disgusting, can't happen and expect to win. This week, 21 rushing yards versus a team that had been doing extremely well on the ground the previous 5 games, barring the Baltimore Ravens game, which is the same team that we struggled with. So once again, it was good to see that the thing that they've been doing their best these past 5 games, we minimized it and made it irrelevant today. I love to see that. And on third down for us on the defense side of the ball, 4 of 11. That is big time right there, man. That's how you win the game. And then 1 for 3 in the red zone, man, in terms of not allowing them to score touchdowns, making them have to kick field goals. Now, we know the one, all right, that was because of them just trying to, conserve time and stuff like that. But still, when you're able to be that good in the red zone and on third down, that is a recipe for success as well. So, once again, man, really good job across the board when you're talking about defense. Now, they still had a couple penalties on that thing out there. How'd y'all feel about the Cam Sutton one, man? I was thinking about that one too. As I looked at it, I'm like, as a defender, I don't want him to call it. But I say if that's George Pickens running the route, I would want the flag. And that was kind of like my dilemma, man. But y'all let me know how y'all felt about that one, man. Yeah, I was definitely torn, though. I was torn. All right, I see Leah Warren. She says the Sutton one was iffy. Steve Brooks calls it a tough call. Steel City Stoner. Love the name, by the way. He says, got to get his head turned around better. Yeah, I can see that right there. Yeah. Oh, Stan Clare says that PI on Cam Sutton was BS. Yeah, see, I was stuck because he was a little bit early. Like when the ball, like you see the ball about to drop and he's like, not full on panic, but panic-y. And he does hate. But that's my thing. I'm like, am I like this because it was Cam Sutton? And that's why I say, if that was George Pickens going for that route, or if that was Deontay Johnson on offense and this was the Panthers DB, will we want that call? I'm just stuck with it, man. I'm stuck with it. But either way, man. Either way, it's one of them ones, man. It's touchy. I see, and it looks like in the chat, y'all kind of the same as me, man. Y'all kind of rocky with it as well, man. Oh, and I see Gavin Houston talking about some free agents that could potentially help our back end. Jamel Deans and obviously, Rock Yassin. Man, I was about to butcher his first name. Oh my goodness. Remember when he came out of the Temple a couple years ago, man. Shout out to him though, man. Okay. But now I like that then, man. I like that. So yeah, we all kind of the same thoughts with that one then. All right. So yeah, man. Like I said, those are my thoughts though on the defense side of the ball. As a whole though, really good. We needed that from them, and they executed the way they needed to for 4 quarters and did not allow Sam Darnold to look like something that he was not. Did he have some moments? Yes. But we didn't make him look like Joe Burrow or anybody else. You know how we do at times with backups and stuff like that, man. So that was really good to see. And then just as a total team element before I tap all the way into the chats and stuff like that. Positive today were this, man. I thought we started fast. The fast start was critical. Being able to come out, scoring the opening drive, punch it in, touchdown, physical running by Najee as well. And then to come back defensively, man, forcing the stop, forcing the punt. I like that. Definitely like that. I thought that when we're able to start fast and play with a lead versus having to chase, man, we just playing with the more, we just operate a lot more efficiently, and we play with a lot more confidence that way. I thought we were physical throughout the game. Not only at the start, but at the end of it, man, where we knew we had to execute, and we knew we had to run the ball. That's the one thing that I'm always the most fond of. And those got to have it. You know, this team is trying to run the ball. You got to stop them. Who gets it done? And those obvious passing, obvious running moments, who can win in those situations like that? And for us today to be able to be the more physical team in those situations, in those scenarios, both on offense and defense, I thought was really impressive. Something that we need to do better at. We got to cut down on the penalties. 7 penalties, 81 yards. You can get away with that against Carolina. That's not always the case for some of these other teams. Whether you're talking the Marcus Allen penalty, and obviously how that gave the Panthers the ball back, they ended up settling for the field goal on that drive, and part of that was because of the time and stuff like that. And some of the plays we made defensively, but that's one of the ones where that could have came back to hurt you for real. The Deontay Johnson penalty after the first down on 3rd down, gets up, flexes on the guy, wants to put his chest and other body parts to let the guy know that he's the man. Hey, that type of stuff, man, you can get away with it against Carolina, but versus some of the top tier teams, man, the more consistent teams, that will get you beat. So yeah, got to do better in terms of the penalty element of it. But I also thought that we played with just confidence and a mindset that we were playing to win the game, not playing to not lose the game, if that makes sense. Sometimes you go out there and you play not to make a mistake, you play not to lose, and I thought that could potentially happen because of how last week went, especially on offense, the 3 turnovers in the red zone. I was like, man, I hope we don't get out here and we're playing super conservative, not trying to do anything aggressive. But that wasn't the case. I thought, man, Canada, he called a good game. It was aggressive enough. I thought that as a whole, the team played out there with great confidence and speed, and it showed, man, in terms of defensively when they wanted to take chances. And then obviously on the offense side of the ball, man. So, like I said, good there. And then we just controlled the game. 68 snaps to 43 snaps. That is dominant, man. But that's also because of how well we played on 3rd down offensively, sustaining drives, and then defensively getting off the field. That's a recipe for success. You're keeping your defense fresh. You're keeping their offense off the field. And then you're keeping the Panthers defense tired. So, yeah, across the board, man, good team win. So, yeah, just impressed with everything that we saw, or impressed with a lot that we saw today. And this is what we're capable of. Like I said, it doesn't matter if it's the Panthers or anybody else. When we play the game the way that we're capable of playing it in terms of just us not messing up, we can do that to any team that we would want to. But the consistency has to be there. And that's the part where the NFL is NFL. You're not going to always get consistency each and every week. But Let's tap in. See my man C Dad's 86. I appreciate you. Now it's time to get to you, baby. He says Mitch is 100% a backup or game manager at best. Any QB could have had that performance. I mean, you say that, but it's a lot of QBs that don't have that performance, unfortunately. So I know we would love to minimize it, and that's cool, but unfortunately, not everybody does do that, because we saw even last week that not everybody can do that. He couldn't even do that. He threw 3 picks. So that is why this was different. Sam Darnold couldn't even do this to that extent, which is why they weren't able to get the job done. And Sam Darnold still did some good stuff today, but that was the difference, man. Mitch did play well. Mitch did do the things that you needed to do, and being a game manager is not a bad thing. Would you rather be a game loser? A person that's going to turn the ball because they want to be aggressive to not be called a game manager? Nah, man. Game managers win games. Game managers take care of the ball. Game managers are part of the reasons why teams are successful. But you just have to understand what type of quarterback you have. If you have a game manager and you're trying to play him like a top 5 quarterback, that's a recipe for disaster. Plenty of teams take that thought process. And as you can see, there's plenty of teams that struggle. But what we're doing right now, man, that's the way you got to win. So, yeah, I don't care what you call him. Game manager, I call it a winner. So that's how I look at it. But like I said, man, everybody has their thoughts on it, man. Shout out to the homie Angel Rosales, though. He says, who said Kenny doesn't throw downfield? What about those 2 deep touchdown opportunities against the Bengals? He stays taking shots when they are called. Yeah and nah. We can point to those, yes, but there's still multiple opportunities for him, especially the past couple of games where he was out there, where he did have some opportunities to take some shots downfield, especially against the Falcons team, where he just, like I said, it wasn't for some reason, man. But he's a rookie, and that's the other part of it. For rookies, man, it's all about comfort. It's all about feeling good out there. And man, sometimes you feel good based on what you've seen on tape. Sometimes you feel good based on what you visually see in the game. And at times, I do feel like that has been why Kenny doesn't take as many shots downfield. But that's also put him at a more efficient level of quarterback play where he's not turning the ball over. So, like I said, it's the pros and cons with that. But either way, man, that's just how it goes right now with this offense because of everything that's taking place. Oh, shout out to Jesse G. Shout out to Jesse G, man. He says, and appreciate your conversation and your support for the show. Says, long time listener, first time poster. Well, since you the first time poster, you know I have to stop and tap in real quick, man, because the color caught my eye. Bam. But he says, just wanted to thank you for all of the insights. What a game by Deontay. Did you see him use his body to make more catches this game? I feel like his drops come when he catches with his hands. What's your take? It's a little bit of both. Sometimes the body catch, it is a little bit more secure in terms of you just have the mass, so that way the ball, if it goes through your hands, it's going to hit your stomach, your chest. But at the same time, in terms of catching mechanics, you don't always want to do that because that ball can bounce off your shoulder pads and stuff like that. And it just makes it a lot harder to secure. And that's when that ball you see flying up in the air. But to me, when I see Deontay dropping the ball most of the time, is when he is not trusting his fundamentals and actually looking the ball completely in. And that is largely because of how he is always looking for his second move. He's trying to catch that ball and see where that next defender is to make him miss. And at times, he just skips this stage of catch, see it, and then go look here. He goes hands, and I'm looking here. And that is where, just from a catching mechanics perspective, that's where the inconsistencies can really come into place. It's kind of like when I talk about linebackers or guys making a tackle. You can run into a guy full speed and hit him without wrapping up, and you might make an occasional big hit and knock a guy down. But the majority of the time, if you don't wrap up and use your arms and drive your legs, these guys are going to keep running. So for Deontay, similar concept, man. When he's putting his hands up, that's the equivalent of just running into a guy. When he's actually seeing it home, though, and looking at it and catching it and securing it, now that's the equivalent of a guy actually like wrapping up a guy on offense and bringing him to the ground. It's just really taking the steps of the fundamentals. And for Deontay, man, because of how gifted he is, at times he skips that part. And that, to me, is more so why he struggles in terms of just securing the catch, because he is a very dynamic catcher of the football. You look at him this season, he's had some crazy catches. One hand, two hands, good throw, bad throw. But he misses the routine throws a lot. Or not a lot, but just enough of it where we can notice it. And that's because of just how confident he is in his abilities that he will skip that step. But for him, hopefully he will get, more of what we saw today, which is detailing his work, doing all the little things the right way and not trying to skip those steps. But definitely appreciate you, Jesse G. Absolutely. G. Alexander, wagwan, my Moats. It's all love, baby. He says he's fresh off Mars, baby. Absolutely. Well, you fresh off, and I'm finna get back up there, so don't you trip. He says offense was decent, still a few bad play calls. Powerball sized help we in. Oh, with some Powerball sized help, we'll be in. Chico getting that commissioner letter. Yeah. Marcus Allen definitely gonna get one of them FedExes from was it 1400 or whatever they call it in New York. I forgot the address to it, man. But yeah, he gonna get a fresh little FedEx, man, with a nice little, hey, you've been directly deducted X amount of money from your check this week. Congratulations, you played yourself. Yeah, that's what he's gonna have this week. Absolutely. And yeah, we are gonna need some help, but as long as we got a chance, so we need, baby. So we need, all right? Yeah. And offensive play calling, could it be better? Sure. But still, to me, when I look at this offense and how far they've come, I'm like, man, I can't even nitpick them like that today. I'm just like, you know what, man? Y'all did what we needed to do to get this victory. Y'all protected the ball. I don't even want to get on y'all like that today, man. So I'm just giving it a check. I'm just checking it up today. But shout out to you, G. Shout out. All right. Dondre Ezel says, do you think Dan Moore can save his job? Although he started the year terrible, he has made huge leaps and bounds, and he's looking way better than his rookie year. And you can see he's getting his NFL body. Dude, I'm with you, man. Dan Moore has definitely continued to improve. The big thing with Dan Moore, he just plays one of the positions that when he plays bad, it's really bad, because it's usually a sack and turnover variety and stuff like that potentially, man. But I think that Dan Moore is, regardless of how he finishes the season off, he is going to get competition next year. They're going to bring somebody in, whether it's in free agency or in the draft, to compete with him, because he just hasn't been consistent enough. It's not a terrible thing. You think about Chooks on the right side, man. He had competition every year except this year. He was battling Zach Banner. Okay? So it's like, man, certain guys, man, you need to have them have a competition until they're mature enough, until they're consistent enough where they don't need that. So when I look at Dan Moore, I'm like, I like what I've been seeing these past couple of games, but I still want to see that continue on into the finish of the season. And then in the offseason, whoever we bring in, it's like, man, I want to see you keep going on the direction. Now, the team will dictate how, confident they feel in him, and we'll know by the competition level. If it's somebody that is like, oh, that's the A side, and Dan Moore, you're the B person in this competition, well, they don't have that much confidence in him. Now, if it's, hey, you're the A party, Dan Moore, and the guy we brought in here, you should clearly beat out, well, then that'll let you know they actually do truly believe in Dan Moore. I think very similar to the Kevin Dotson situation. They made Kevin Dotson's competition this year Kendrick Green. That wasn't going to be the same situation, whereas if it was James Daniels that they brought in for Kevin Dotson, that's a different level of competition. So that's what I'm speaking on directly, and we'll see, like I said, how they handle that with Dan Moore. But yeah, Dan is definitely, like I said, he's been playing a lot more consistent, and that's what we need from him, man. I thought he did well today, though. R. Barley 18, yeah, you got it. We need a franchise QB. I don't think taking a QB round one to be a game manager either. I still feel Mitch is better than Kenny, but neither are the long-term answer. Yeah, and I think that can all be true. When you're looking for the long-term answer, everybody wants that top 5 quarterback as a long-term answer, and that's fine. But it's just a lot of teams that are still in the hunt looking for that top 5 quarterback, and there's no guarantee that you're going to find that guy. So if you don't have one of those guys, which, like I said, a lot of teams do. I mean, a lot of teams don't have that guy, right? You got to figure out what's going to be your plan of approach. Are you going to spend the next 5 to 10 years chasing after that guy? Or are you going to try to formulate a way to win now and keep yourself in the conversation each and every year until you might fall across one of those type of guys? And that's the decision that obviously the team is going to have to make. But you look around the league, that's what a lot of teams have to decide on. Do you say, all right, I like what I have here and we're going to build it up a la Kirk Cousins, a la what they did with Jimmy G out in San Fran? Or do you keep chasing after it and you say, I'm going to keep drafting the quarterback, I'm going to keep trading picks, until I find this guy? you could take that approach as well, man. It's worked out for some teams, but for a lot of teams, it doesn't work out for. But like I said, man, that's just one of them things that, yeah, at the NFL level, man, quarterbacks matter. But it's just not a lot of those caliber quarterbacks that me and you are speaking of, them elite. Yeah, ain't a lot of them walking around here, man. Justin Lips Watson says, I don't understand all the Kenny hate in the chat. Well, the big thing, man, in terms of the Kenny hate, it's no different than the Mitch hate. The Civil War. You know how that goes, man. You can't have one player getting too much praise because then they feel like, oh, man, well, what about my guy? We got to talk about our guy. It's like, man, Kenny didn't even play today. Like, how we get on Kenny today, man? But that is just, how it goes when the team is not sitting in a position where we would like to have been, undefeated. So with that, man, obviously everybody becomes very critical of everything. Rightfully so in certain elements. And some of the stuff is a little bit overreactive, but either way, that is to me the big thing. When Kenny comes back and Kenny plays, whether it's elite or terrible, Mitch Trubisky is going to be brought up. Oh man, Mitch could have done that. Mitch did this. So that's just a part of it, man. But as long as we're taking care of business, man, I'm cool with whatever. Just make sure whoever is out there is protecting the ball, and that's going to help us win. But we can't have our turnovers, and that's regardless of if it's Mitch, if it's Kenny, or if it's Mason, or anybody that we might draft. You can't turn the ball over. So that's kind of how I look at it, man. But it is fun, though, to see this quarterback carousel and who's supporting who. And this week, man, we're all on this guy's back, and now that we're on this guy's back, you just got to roll with it, man. Got to roll with it. Alrighty. Mike Hood. He says, I thought linebackers played well with no Miles Jack. Absolutely. Spillane had 6 tackles. One, I think he was 6. And was that one solo? Oh, 1 TFL. Got you. All right, yeah. So Spillane had 6 tackles, 1 TFL, and then Devin Bush obviously had the 2 tackles. And do you have any TFLs? No, he was just 4 total, 2 solo, 2 assists. Spillane obviously led the team in tackles, 7, 6 solo, but he had 1 TFL. Well, both of them dudes, though, man, obviously no Miles Jack. Miles is the alpha of that group. He is the leader. He is the most productive linebacker that we have on the team. In terms of inside linebacker, we obviously know TJ Watt. But for them to not have Miles, I thought they did what they needed to do. Obviously, we could see some of the flash, even Devin Bush early on in the game coming downhill. Spillane did some good stuff. Obviously, Spillane had the one play where, he just missed a tackle. And that's the part of his game where we know Spillane, if it's athlete on athlete and he is wrong, or if he does not make that play, he does not have the ability to make up for it with his speed. He doesn't have the ability to out-athlete a guy. And that was obviously shown, like I said, I think it was a Chuba Hubbard that had the big Phil flipping play on that catch. But as a whole, both of them dudes, man, they executed and they didn't blow assignments. When you're talking about winning, and especially last week to this week, we said, man, a lot of them runs, or not a lot of them, but the explosive runs specifically last week were the byproducts of our linebackers and our D linemen not executing, not being in their gaps. And to me, to see us come back this week and be gap sound, to not be backdooring stuff, to not be running around blocks, to not be jumping in and out of our gaps, I thought that was a big reason why defensively against the run, we were able to be as good as we were. We were penetrating, we were aggressive with our down D linemen, but also, like I said, our LBs, man, they played downhill and they were in their gaps. When you do that, man, that's how you win this level. I didn't know the way the broadcast was talking, man. They kept talking about my man Mark Robinson. I was like, oh, we're gonna see him today. Now, obviously, he has the athletic ability, but I was low key kind of glad that we didn't, just in the sense that he is a very talented player, and I think that he's going to be potentially a good player for us defensively. But putting a young player in at this stage on defense at the middle linebacker position, especially with no Miles Jack, it's just so much that could go wrong. In terms of the calls being wrong, gaps being out, in terms of not being aligned right, not knowing if the guy in front of you, because we said last week, man, some of those dudes jumping out of their gaps. What that could potentially do to a young linebacker, man. So, like I said, as much as I would have liked to see Mark Robinson because of his athletic ability, at the same time, I wasn't mad at the fact that he did not get out there like that, just because, like I said, you don't want to give a Carolina Panthers team, especially offense that really didn't have a lot going for them, just life because of a blown assignment. And I was glad that we were able to avoid that, man. But it'll be interesting to see, man, like I said, for him, man, what he's able to do when he finally gets his opportunity. Alrighty. And then we have R. Barley, 18. Those hands, an issue. He's scared. He can't consistently make them NFL throws. He ducks more passes than most QBs. Doubt starts creeping in for him. Let's be honest. Everybody has an issue with Kenny's hands, man. That's why he wears the gloves, though, baby. So it is what it is. But regardless of, if you feel like he ducks it or not, and if we think that it's more than any other quarterback in the league or not, unless we got hard data and stuff like that, all we're doing is making assumptions. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just not a hard fact. That's all. But for Kenny, man, regardless of his limitations, every quarterback's going to have limitations. It's all about minimizing those and highlighting your strengths. And for Kenny, that's what he's starting to figure out, obviously before the concussion. But that's the thing that he has to continue to grow with. Every quarterback is going to have an issue. Every quarterback is going to have some type of knock. The question is, can you do enough to overcome that, to minimize it, to make it irrelevant, so to speak? And that's the thing that we're going to see with Kenny going forward. And if he can do it, he'll play a long time and win a lot of games, man, and we'll love him. But if he can't, then he'll be like a lot of the other quarterbacks in this league where you just move on from them guys in a year or two or in a couple of years. So that's, a part of it. But yeah, like I said, everybody has something bad about their game, man. Nobody is this picture perfect, can do no wrong player. Everybody has something. So we will see, though. All right, let's see. Oh, and shout out to X Concept. Yeah, X Concepts 1 says Johnson, Pickens, and Najee went off. No, they did, man. They was doing their thing today. And when they playing like that, that makes our offense very scary, very explosive at times, man. And it'll be good to see, man. I need my dog Najee to get that 100, though, man. I want him to get 100, yo. Just so next time, we come up here on the podcast, which obviously will be live tomorrow, 4 o'clock. But next time we come on this podcast, my man TG up here, I got to let him know, man, hey, man, you see Najee today? I need more Najee ammo. So, yes, hopefully, Najee keep this thing rolling, man. But definitely like what I saw from those 3 dudes, man. I'm with you on that. X Concepts 1, shout out. And Brad Smith, yes, man. If Jalen Warren, I know you say he needs 20 carries. I wouldn't give him 20 carries, but I wouldn't mind like 10 touches, though. Why not? Let's see how many times. Oh, actually, excuse me. I misspoke. 11 carries. 20 touches, not 20 carries, what I mean. And that's obviously with the throwing, because I want him to get more of the passing elements. He only had, one catch today for 11 yards. I think that's where he can really make a lot more of his hay. I love what he does in terms of the change-up element as a running back to Najee's power blows. But to me, man, get him the ball in space and just allowing him to make a guy miss. If I'm guarding him one-on-one, open field, trying to make that tackle, he's a lot scarier to deal with in the open field because of the tempo that he plays with. So, yeah, I would like to get him more involved as well. Hey, shout out to Chris B right here. He says, don't expect 300-yard games out of Mitch or Kenny right now. That ain't the way they operate this offense. Very true. And think about it, right? We said 300-yard games. Mitch had 276 last week and would have had clearly over 300. But what did he do trying to accomplish that? 3 interceptions in the red zone. Yeah, I'm with you. We can, love that 300 passing yard number because obviously that's what the elite guys do, and we all want one of those things. But that's dangerous game to flirt with, man, with these type of quarterbacks. Are they good enough to be streaky and do it on occasion? Yes. But to do it consistently week in and week out, man, it just puts it too much of opportunity for the turnovers. And they have shown, whether it's Mitch or Kenny, that they will turn it over if you're asking them to do that frequently. But in terms of running the offense like they did today, you can win like that, man. That's controlling the clock. That is executing. That is making the downfield throws that you need to make and being situationally good, man, because we saw they dominated third downs. So as long as they doing it like that, man, I'm cool. We ain't got to see a 300. That's fine. But last week, like I said, Mitch was definitely capable of getting 300. So yeah. Oh, and then Bryce Landis talked about just how we needed to control that line of scrimmage. And I'm with you on that, man. When we do that, when we control the line of scrimmage the way that we did today, and the way that we've done in now this is 4 of our last 6 games coming out of the bye week. When we control the line of scrimmage, man, we are very tough to deal with. And that ultimately puts us in position to win the way that we did today, man. And like I said, man, we just got to keep stacking these things up, man. 6 and 8. You have another fun one coming up, baby. So, like I said, man, y'all hit the like button once again on this thing, man. Enjoy this victory, man, because we needed one. Ooh, it feels good to get a dub, baby. And like I said, man, we'll be tapping right back in this thing tomorrow as we go back live. Phone lines probably be open for y'all, man. Hear some of y'all thoughts, comments, concerns. And also check out the website, too, arthurmoats.com, man. We got some new cool stuff up there, man. Got some new stadium bags as well, man, all right? So definitely check that stuff out. But yeah, other than that, man, y'all enjoy yourselves. Stay safe out there. And until next time, baby. Peace.